Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie Esther here. And well, a few nights ago, Dead by Daylight put out a post on their Instagram with the caption, "New things coming in October." And they put this up at 3 a.m. and I had at first thought, wow, that's really weird. Maybe it was supposed to be scheduled at 3 p.m. and somebody just forgot. And then I had a person say to me, do you think there's any significance between the timing? 3 a.m. seems really strange. I said, nah, I think it was just a mistake. But then I said, wait a minute. Let me check something. So I went and looked, and sure enough, the witching hour is supposed to be between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. It says here on the Wikipedia, the phrase the witching hour began at least as early as 1775, and then the church prohibited activities during 3 to 4 a.m. time frame due to emerging fears about witchcraft in Europe, and in the Western Christian tradition, the hour between 3 and 4 a.m. was considered a period of peak supernatural activity. This time is also referred to as the devil's hour. So that was like, whoa, I think there is some significance to this. I had already felt like this is all tied to Halloween, a Halloween upcoming event, and perhaps the boon totem perks that are coming. Since then, I talked to Dylan KG, who grows a lot of houseplants, and he told me that the plant in the background, we talked about this in the last video, I didn't know what it was, and Claudette wasn't around to give me her botany knowledge, that this plant is referred to as the devil's ivy. So they gave us these two Instagram posts, and then 2 days later, they followed up with another Instagram post reading, "It's spooky season, working on some new material with this handwriting thing." And we see this case here in the background, this figure with hands all over it. In the top right, there is a taxidermied crow here and a black skull. And on the table in the foreground, we have a witch's hat with some glasses, and it looks like an open notebook with a pen on it. And then the curio cabinet full of a lot of different things. So, what do we think about this? A lot of people think that this points to Haddie Kaur from the archives lore. So let's talk about her first. I don't, but I think it's worth mentioning. So you may have heard her name. So let's talk about that first. Okay, so heading on over to the Dead by Daylight Wikipedia page, there's an entry here for Haddie Kaur, and it says, Haddie Kaur is an Indian psychic investigator who is focused on in various tome entries. She creates the Harbinger of Hell web series, where she investigates paranormal phenomena and historical tragedies, as well as working to expose the Black Veil, that's the cult that worships the entity, don't forget, across various realities. She makes the web series alongside her older French-Canadian stepbrother, Jordan Waugh, and it is produced by her step-uncle, Stéphane Waugh. She is funded by a mysterious benefactor, Surin Rivera. She has the ability to see what others cannot, and view the overlaps between realities as well as the events from the past. And then it goes into her lore here. She's featured in multiple tome entries in the archives where her adventures are followed by the Observer. So she appears in Tome 6, Tome 7, and Tome 8 in the Observer's stories here. So in Tome 6, she ventures to India to investigate a massacre of British soldiers in the 1800s in a cave called the Valley of the Evil Eyes. And in the cave, she fights a grotesque monster with dozens of red eyes and a mouth of needle-like teeth, and discovers a column piece which was hidden by a group of cloaked figures. That sounds like the Black Veil to me. In Tome 7, she journeys to Turkey and finds a casket marked with a half crescent and 3 dots. There, the casket is forcefully opened by a woman working for a secret society, and once opened, a black mist is released which possesses the woman and turns them into a vampire. She manages to kill the vampire by drawing the half crescent and 3 dots seal onto its face. And in Tome 8, she travels to New York to discover who her benefactor is. There, she learns of a government conspiracy to use the overlap between realities for their own ends, and her benefactor states that he instead wishes to use the overlap for scientific endeavors. And then it also says here that Haddie Kaur's parents disappeared on an island when she was 5 years old, and people have theorized that this is a potential hint towards her being a member of the pariahs, like Felix Richter and Elodie Ruckato. Now remember, that's Dire Island, where they're all kind of outsiders, and they have one by one been taken into the fog. So a lot of people think that Haddie's coming next. On Terra 238, Haddie Kaur is instead named Hannah on Terra 238, and Haley on Terra 1315. And on Terra 717, 1315, and 238, her web series is renamed The Harbinger FM. Now, if you don't know what these Terra things mean, the Observer is looking at a multiverse of realities in which there are different versions of many of the characters that we know and love, who have different qualities, different characteristics, depending on which Earth they come from. Which is why I've had the speculation that perhaps one day we could see a simultaneous survivor and killer as the same person in the game, being pulled from different Terras, these different multiverse realities. Okay, so this is who Haddie Kaur is, and now let's talk about her. So my personal feelings is that this rumored survivor that we're getting very soon is going to be a witch, and they are going to be the one who introduces the boon totem perks into the game. Boon totems are these perks that are coming in which the survivors are going to be able to, instead of having hex totems that are cursed and have negative effects on the survivors in the game, they're going to be able to somehow spin these totems into blessed totems, which will have positive effects for survivors in the game. Whether they'll be just for the survivor who creates the boon totem or everyone remains to be seen. We should know all of this very shortly. I'm very confident that the boon totems are coming to the game in the mid-chapter. We just had a developer update today, which was part 1, and they said part 2 is coming soon. I believe part 2 is probably going to cover the boon totems, but we'll have to wait and see. So anyway, if all this is correct about the boon totems coming, I do think that whoever this new survivor is, they're going to dabble in the witchcraft. We see this this witch's hat here on the table. I think that Haddie is more likely to come in a later chapter with a vampire. We have seen that Haddie has experience with a vampire in the lore, and we have also seen in the Observer's cinematic that he engages with a vampire in one of his stories. So I think it's more likely that Haddie will come to the game, maybe the next chapter, or who knows when. But I believe that she'll be a standalone survivor. No, not she'll be a survivor who is coupled with a vampire killer. That's what I foresee for laying out what her chapter would be. I think this standalone survivor is going to be a witch. Haddie, her psychic ability, all of this psionic energy just reads to me as a sensitivity to the paranormal and like telepathy, clairvoyance, those kind of things. I don't think it's going to be actual hands-on witchcraft, which I think is what all of these clues are leading us to. I mean, remember, the end point is that we could end up with boon totems. So in my mind, clairvoyance doesn't translate into boon totems. I could be completely wrong, but my bet is against Haddie as the new survivor. I will say that in this picture here, you do see some curio things in the cabinet. It really does feel a lot like the Warrens in The Conjuring, where they have all of these different trinkets from their adventures that they put away. And I believe there is a crystal ball up in the top left, and people who have psychic abilities sometimes do channel them through items such as a crystal ball or tarot card. So I might be completely wrong about this, and it will be Haddie, but my gut feeling is that it isn't going to be Haddie. It's going to be a completely different survivor. There are some rumors floating around that someone has said that they have quote-unquote confirmed that it's female, which I guess lends towards Haddie, but it could be someone else who's female. I don't know how they know that, but it's just a rumor circulating. And there's also a rumor that it's going to be an original survivor and not licensed because of the amount of cosmetics the character has. So I don't know. They said they're 99% sure that it's not licensed. But if it was licensed, you know who I would like to see as this witch survivor coming to the game, and I think it would be amazing. None other than Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I don't think this is what's happening, but hear me out on the possibility of Elvira. So now if we go back to January of this year, there was a tweet at Elvira that said, at the real Elvira, if you were per se asked by Dead by Daylight to be added into their game as a survivor, would you consider it? And she replied, maybe. And then I said, quick, get Matthew Cote on the phone right now, to which he reacted, what? So is this a possibility? I don't know, but I sure would love to see it. Elvira has so many fans. She's celebrating her 40th anniversary. If you don't know the history of Elvira, she started out as a California television show host who introduced bad horror movies and poked fun at them on the weekends, and she just grew into this larger-than-life horror icon. She became so popular over the years is that when the television studio could not afford to increase her pay as her popularity grew and grew, she instead accepted more and more ownership of the character that they had come up with at the TV studio. She started out with the Elvira fan club, and eventually she wound up owning 100% character rights for Elvira. So that's the woman, Cassandra Peterson, who plays Elvira. That's the only person you need to deal with. This isn't one of these convoluted licenses about who owns what. Cassandra Peterson, who portrays Elvira, owns 100% of Elvira. The buck stops here with her. She has control of everything over it. So for her to say that yes, maybe she would be willing to come into the game is music to my ears. Now, there's a lot of people who think, no, Elvira's too campy, or, you know, it just doesn't seem right to put Elvira on the hook. But, you know, that's not for me to decide. I would love to see her in the game if at all possible. So we'll see what happens. I would love for this witch character coming in to be Elvira. I don't think that's what it is, just based on the evidence of the amount of cosmetics. I don't think Elvira has that many hairstyles to toggle between. She has a few different dresses that are out there in canon, and I guess she has like her Rambo outfit for an alternate hairstyle, but not enough to warrant a full range of the cosmetics that original survivors get at those low-level prices of the brown rarities. I don't think you'll ever see a licensed character get that many cosmetics that cheap at those brown level rarities. I think those are only for originals. So as much as I would love to see Elvira, and we have these beautiful mock-ups of what she could look like in game, I don't think it's happening, at least not yet. Matthew, Elvira is she said maybe, entertain the possibility, Matthew. But I think this is going to be some different kind of a witch. Going back to that idea of the alternate realities and the different Terra versions. Could this be the hag who we know has dabbled with witchcraft and introduced those hex totems? Could we now see her in human form as Lisa Sherwood, doing the very opposite, introducing these blessings and the boon totems? So, food for thought. I don't think we'll have very long to wait. I mean, heck, you know, by the time I'm done rendering this video, there might be a third Witching Hour Instagram post in a couple of hours. Like, it'll be there and I'll wake up to it. Who knows? Stop making me stay up till 3 a.m., please, Dead by Daylight. I'm an old man and I need my beauty sleep. Okay? All right, so it's going to be fun no matter what. I can't wait to see what it is. I don't think we're going to have to wait much longer with these teases this week. I think it probably signals that there will be a PTB next week, but don't quote me on that. That's just my gut feeling. I don't have any inside information regarding that. But yeah, there's probably going to be more clues and maybe even a reveal of whatever this new survivor that's rumored to be coming to the game with the mid-chapter patch, what it's going to be all about. I can't wait to see it. All right. Elvira, until we meet again, we'll see you another day. Matthew, just think about it, Matthew. You're in charge of licensing. Just think about it. I'm just asking you. Just think about Elvira, please. Please. Okay. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to take care of each other in and out of the fog. And we will see you next time. Unpleasant dreams.
It's a Gen Rush life for us. It's a Gen Rush life for us. Set a hiding, we do gens. Set a randoms, we got friends. It's a Gen Rush life